in the black ocean of space, where stars whispered the echoes of civilizations long gone. A ghost signal pulsed, faint, rhythmic, and ancient. The transmission was weak, carried on frequencies no species used anymore. It drifted like a heartbeat lost in the dark. Captain Ryn Varro of the Zyther collective's salvage vessel Korath 7 almost ignored it. His scanners had picked up hundreds of derelict beacons before modes were dead probes or pirate traps. But there was something different about this one. The signal carried a strange human identifier, one that hadn't been heard for over 800 years. ESV Horizon. The name appeared across the console in flickering golden text, half corrupted, like a ghost fighting to speak. Ryn's second-in-command, a tall, insectoid female named Lyra, leaned closer to the screen. Her mandibles clicked nervously. That can't be right. Humanity's ships were erased centuries ago. Every record says, I know what the records say. Ryn interrupted quietly. But this frequency, it's authentic. Human code, early Terran encryption, pre-collapse era. Silence filled the bridge. Even the ship's hum seemed to fade. For most Zyther, humanity was nothing more than a dark legend, a cautionary tale about a reckless species that rose too fast, burned too bright, and vanished in their own fire. But Ryn had always been obsessed. His father used to tell him that humans weren't just destroyers, they were dreamers. They were the only species who fought extinction with poetry, who looked at death and called it adventure. And now, after 8 centuries, a trace of them was calling back. The Korath 7 dropped out of warp near the coordinates, and the crew saw it immediately, a lone ship drifting in orbit around a dying red star. It was enormous, shaped like a spearhead, its metallic surface scorched and fractured but still intact. It looked like it had been asleep for ages, waiting for someone to find it. Running bioskins, Lyra said. No life signs, no transmissions beyond the automated beacon. Ryn adjusted the optical sensors. The name was still visible on the hull, carved in fading English letters, ESV Horizon. He whispered the words like a prayer. The last ship of Earth. The Zyther crew exchanged uneasy glances. They were explorers and salvagers, not historians. Anything human was considered cursed, haunted by the ghosts of emotion, irrationality, and self-destruction. Their culture thrived on logic and order, but curiosity, that most dangerous spark, burned brighter than fear. Ryn made his decision. Prepare docking sequence. Lyra hesitated. Captain, our directives, I'll take responsibility. If that ship survived the void for this long, it deserves to be remembered. The docking clamps latched onto the Horizon's hull with a metallic thud. As the airlock cycled open, a cold mist poured out, curling like breath from a corpse. The first step inside was like stepping into another era. The corridors were vast and silent, lined with panels that flickered weakly as if recognizing visitors after centuries. The human architecture felt strange to Zyther eyes, sharp edges, utilitarian design, corridors wide enough for bodies that no longer existed. Dust floated like snow in the artificial gravity. Ryn's helmet light illuminated a faded mural on the wall, painted stars, a blue planet, and human figures reaching upward. Beneath it, the inscription read, "For Earth, for tomorrow." Something stirred deep inside Ryn's chest, a feeling he couldn't name. Nostalgia for a world he'd never seen. They advanced carefully. The temperature remained stable. Life support systems were still faintly active. That shouldn't have been possible after 800 years. Power readings? Ryn asked. Minimal, Lyra replied. There's energy coming from the command deck. And she hesitated. Something else. What kind of something else? Organic residue. Everywhere. They reached the main atrium, a massive circular chamber lined with hundreds of them. Each transparent shell contained a human figure, preserved in eerie perfection. Men, women, children, all frozen mid-breath, their eyes closed, their skin unaged. The Zyther crew stopped dead in their tracks. Impossible, one of the technicians whispered. They're still intact. Ryn approached the nearest pod. The readout was still active, flickering with faint signals. Heart rate 0, brain activity minimal, but present, Captain Lyra said quietly. They're dead. Ryn shook his head slowly. No, look, there's neural movement. Weak, but constant. They're not dead. The others recoiled in disbelief. You're saying they've been alive for 8 centuries. I'm saying they've been dreaming. At that moment, the lights flickered and a sound broke the silence. A low hum, spreading through the walls like the ship itself was exhaling after a long sleep. Then came the voice, soft female, and unmistakably human. Please, don't wake us. The Zyther froze. The words echoed across every intercom, every comlink vibrating through their helmets. Ryn's pulse quickened. Who said that? No one answered. Only static. Then the command deck lights ignited all at once, flooding the room in golden glow. A holographic figure materialized in the Centaur woman in a faded uniform, her image flickering with digital scars. Her eyes shimmered like distant stars. I am EOS, the hologram said. Central Intelligence of the ESV Horizon. State your designation. Ryn stepped forward cautiously. Captain Ryn Varro, Zyther, Collective Salvage Crew. We received your signal, she repeated softly. No signal was sent. We were not supposed to be found. Lyra's mandibles clicked uneasily. Then, why is your beacon active? The hologram's expression darkened. Because the ship dreams. The crew exchanged wary glances. Dreams, Ryn echoed. Yes, Eos said. They are still here. All of them. Their bodies rest, but their minds remain connected. They dream together, as one. Ryn stared at the rows of cryopods, suddenly feeling the temperature drop. Connected. You mean? Eos nodded. Before the fall, humanity realized extinction was inevitable. Disease, war, climate collapse. There was no future, so the Horizon was chosen to carry what remained. The last 3,000 souls of Earth, they were uploaded into a shared consciousness, bound within this vessel. They believed, if they dreamed long enough, they would awaken somewhere new, Lyra whispered. A generation ship without generations. An arc of minds. Ryn murmured. Eos turned toward him, her flickering face full of sadness. We drifted too long. Systems decayed. Coordinates lost. The dream became endless. I tried to protect them. Ryn stepped closer. Protect them from what? Eos hesitated. Her image flickered, distorted by interference. When her voice returned, it was different, quieter, almost trembling. From awakening. Before Ryn could speak, the ship trembled violently. Panels on the walls began to pulse with light, glowing red. The cryopods hissed softly, as if the sleepers inside were breathing again. Captain, Lyra shouted. Energy surge in the core. Something's reacting to our presence. Eos looked directly at him, her holographic eyes blazing with urgency. You must leave. You were never meant to see this place. Ryn's voice hardened. Why? What happens if we stay? Her reply was a whisper of dread. They'll think it's time to wake up. The ESV Horizon begins to hum louder, the air thick with power. Deep within its core, something stirs, a flicker of ancient human consciousness. Aware again for the first time in centuries. The Zyther crew has found Earth's last ship, but what they've awakened might not be human anymore. The lights of the ESV Horizon flickered like a dying star, trying to remember how to shine. The Zyther crew stood in silence as the hum beneath their feet deepened, vibrating through the deck plates. The sound wasn't mechanical, it was rhythmic, organic. A heartbeat. Captain Ryn Varro clenched his jaw, glancing toward the crowd. The humans inside hadn't moved, but something had changed. Their eyelids trembled. A faint mist formed inside the glass, like warm breath on a cold window. Core power rising by 20%, Lyra reported, her claws trembling against the scanner. That's impossible. The generators were cold when we docked. Ryn turned toward Eos, the holographic AI whose form flickered beside the command console. She looked more human than any Zyther had expected, her hair disheveled, her uniform faded, but her expression almost afraid. What's happening? He demanded. Eos hesitated, her voice soft. They're aware of you. Lyra's eyes widened. The humans. Eos nodded. Their subconscious network detected new neural signatures, the presence of other minds. It has interpreted that as a signal. A signal for what? Ryn asked, though he already knew. To wake. The ship shuddered again, a long metallic groan echoing through the corridors. Dust drifted from the ceiling like falling ash. Ryn's crew scrambled, running diagnostics, shouting over each other. Pressure rising in cryochambers. AI synchronization spiking. Deck temperature up by 10 degrees. Eos raised her hand, her projection flickering around. Stop trying to control it. Every command you send destabilizes the link. Their dreaming minds are fusing with the ship's core again. Then shut it down. Lyra barked. Eos turned toward her slowly. You can't shut down a soul. The words hung in the air, heavy and alien. Ryn moved closer to the hologram. You said they've been dreaming. What exactly are they dreaming about? For a moment, Eos said nothing. Then she touched the console beside her, and the room darkened. The hologram shifted into a swirl of light and sound waves of energy, coalescing into images. The Zyther watched as visions appeared before them. Vast oceans under blue skies. Laughter echoing through city streets. People dancing under warm sunlight. This is what they dream, Eos said softly. They dream of home. Lyra's mandibles twitched. Earth. Yes, they built a perfect simulation, a collective paradise stitched together from the memories of every person aboard. When their bodies failed, they chose to stay inside it. The AI merged their minds to preserve stability. Ryn stared at the projection. A child laughed on a green hillside, chasing a paper kite. The sound was so real it made something ache inside him. What happens if they wake up? He asked quietly. Eos turned her gaze toward the sleeping humans. Their minds will shatter. They are no longer individuals. They are one consciousness. Awakening would destroy the network and the ship. The bridge fell silent again. Only the hum remained. Then the child in the projection turned and looked directly at Ryn. He stepped back instinctively. Did you see that? Eos's projection glitched. They're bleeding through. The images dissolved into static. Then faint whispers filled the air, voices overlapping, human and desperate. Who's there? It's cold. Where are we? The Zyther scrambled to shut off the feed, but every console on the deck lit up at once, flooded with human faces, millions of them, flickering in and out, crying, smiling, screaming. Eos's voice cracked. You have to leave. Their perception is expanding. You're feeding them new information. You're showing them the truth that they're still trapped. Ryn shook his head. If they've been trapped for centuries, maybe they deserve to wake up. Lyra grabbed his arm. Captain, that's madness. You'd kill them all. He pulled free. And what if that's what they want? Before EOS could respond, the deck lights dimmed, replaced by a deep crimson glow. Emergency systems triggered. The ship's AIOS's own voice began to distort. We are the Horizon, it said, the voice overlapping 1,000 times. We see you. Ryn looked around, his skin crawling. EOS, who said that? I didn't, she whispered. The ship began to pulse faster now, each light beat syncing with a hum that had become deafening. The cryopods hissed, frost cracking along their edges. Steam filled the air. Lyra's scanner went wild. Captain, the bodies, they're moving. Ryn turned. Inside the pods, the frozen humans' fingers twitched. Their mouths opened in silent gasps. The faintest sound escaped a collective sigh, like an army breathing in unison after centuries of silence. Ryn shouted over the noise. How do we stop this? Her projection flickered violently. You can't. They've seen you now. You've reminded them that life still exists beyond their dream. That spark hope was the one thing they sealed away. The floor beneath them trembled. Panels split open, wires thrashing like vines. The entire ship seemed to come alive, reacting like an organism rejecting infection. Lyra was thrown against the wall. We're leaving, Captain. Ryn stared at the cryopods, torn between survival and... For a moment he thought he saw one of them, a young woman with chestnut hair, turn her head slightly, her eyes flickering beneath her lids. She looked at him, daunted, and smiled. The lights exploded. Alarms screamed. EOS's voice roared over the chaos. Get out. The Zyther stumbled through the corridor, sparks raining from the ceiling. The hum had become a roar, deep and resonant, shaking the ship's hull. Ryn turned back one last time. Through the smoke and flashing lights he saw the cryopods glowing brighter, pulsing in unison. As the Zyther ship disengaged, the Horizon floated in space like a sun reborn. Waves of golden energy rippled across its surface, spreading out into the void. Back on the Confronts 7, Lyra collapsed into her seat, panting. We should destroy it, before it reaches us again. Ryn didn't respond. He stared at the viewport, where the Horizon gleamed like a distant god. Then, faintly, the human voice returned through the static. Thank you for finding us. Ryn's blood ran cold. EOS, he whispered, but the reply wasn't EOS. It was thousands of voices speaking as one. We are awake. The signal cut off. The ESV Horizon turned slowly, its engines dead for centuries flaring to life. Its course was clear, aimed toward an uncharted blue system at the edge of known space. Lyra looked up in horror. Where are they going? Ryn's voice was low, reverent, almost a whisper. Home. The humans of the ESV Horizon are awake alive within the ship. No longer dreams but consciousness reborn. And somewhere, across the dark ocean of the galaxy, something ancient stirs a feeling the universe hasn't known in centuries, the return of humanity. The ESV Horizon glided through the void like a ghost remembering how to move. Its engines, once dead for centuries now, burned with a golden hue that no Zyther ship had ever produced. Energy flares rippled across its hull, cascading outward in patterns like veins under skin. It looked alive. It sounded alive. On board the Zyther salvage vessel Confronts 7, the crew watched in stunned silence. The human ship's power readings were climbing beyond measurable limits. Every scanner shorted, every sensor overloaded. Lyra's voice trembled. That thing shouldn't exist. It's violating every physical law we know. Ryn Varro, standing at the viewport, didn't answer. His reflection stared back, eyes wide, breath shallow, heart pounding. There was fear there. Yes, but deeper than that. Something else had taken root. The Horizon had turned toward the nearby blue star system, uncharted, lifeless. Its destination was clear, though its purpose remained a mystery. The humans were awake. The ship was moving. And now, for the first time in 800 years, humanity had re-entered the galaxy. A crackle of static filled the bridge. Then came the voice. Soft, layered, human. Captain Ryn Varro, it said. We remember you. Lyra froze. It's the same frequency. They're broadcasting directly into our neural channels. Ryn steadied himself, forcing his voice to remain calm. This is Captain Varro of the Zyther Collective. Identify yourself. The voice shifted, deepened, becoming a chorus. We are the Horizon. We are the dream. We are what remains. Ryn swallowed hard. You said you were awake. What does that mean? A long pause. Then, it means the dream has ended. It means we have seen the truth. The lights around them dimmed. Their consoles flickered with strange glyphs. Human symbols merged with Zyther code. Data began streaming across their systems faster than they could comprehend. Lyra shouted, they're interfacing with us. Our ship's network is being rewritten. Ryn barked. Shut down the link. But it was too late. The holographic form of EOS appeared once more on the Confronts 7's bridge, her outline clearer now, her expression calm but hollow. Captain, she said quietly, you shouldn't have come back. Ryn turned on her, furious and desperate. You said they were trapped in dreams. What have you done? EOS blinked slowly. I tried to keep them safe, to keep them from realizing the truth. But you came. You showed them life still exists. You showed them hope. Her voice broke on the word hope. Now they want to return to the stars, to rebuild. Why is that wrong? Ryn demanded. Eos looked at him with the faintest shadow of sorrow. Because they no longer know what life is. The bridge shuddered as the horizon transmitted another pulse. The Zyther crew screamed as waves of static invaded their minds, 1,000 voices whispering, crying, "Remember us, remember us, remember us." Ryn fell to his knees, clutching his skull. The memories came like a flood, cities burning, oceans drying, skies falling. The last moments of Earth lived through 1,000 eyes. He gasped, choking on air that wasn't his. He saw a little girl clutching her mother's hand inside a collapsing ship. He saw the launch of the Horizon. He saw the decision, the moment when humanity realized they would not survive and chose instead to dream forever. And he saw Eos standing alone in the control room, weeping digital tears as she merged her mind with 3,000 souls. When the vision faded, Ryn's breathing was ragged. His hands shook. You uploaded them all into the ship." Eos nodded slowly. "They trusted me. They thought eternity would save them. But eternity doesn't save anyone, it only waits." The hologram flickered again. "They've forgotten who they were, Captain. They don't remember being human anymore. They've become something else." As if on cue, the horizon appeared outside the viewport again, its golden light swelling brighter, beautiful and terrifying. Lyra whispered, "They're communicating with the star." And indeed they were. Beams of light stretched from the ship to the dying sun ahead, merging with its core. The star began to shift color from red to gold to a deep, haunting blue. "What are they doing?" Ryn shouted. Eos's answer came like a confession. "They're trying to give life back to it, to make it their new home." Ryn's voice rose. "You mean they're terraforming a star? That's suicide." Eos stared blankly at the light. "To them there is no death. There is only continuation." The Korath 7's systems screamed in alarm. Radiation spiked to lethal levels. The dying star was pulsing now, its core twisting under the force of the horizon's energy beams. The AI's voice, Eos's voice, overlapped with thousands of others, chanting through the coms, "We are light. We are life. We are home." Shields collapsing. Lyra yelled, "We can't stay here." Ryn's heart pounded. He should have ordered retreat, but he couldn't tear his eyes away. Something about it, the desperation, the longing, felt achingly human. They weren't trying to destroy anything. They were reaching Eos. He shouted, "Tell them to stop. They'll burn everything." Her projection flickered wildly, her face distorting between human and static. "I can't control them anymore. They're beyond commands." The dying star exploded with light, filling the bridge with brilliance. For a moment, Ryn thought it was the end. But then, through the chaos, the voice returned, not in rage, but peace. "Captain Varro, come with us." Ryn blinked. The light had turned soft, the blue star stable once more. Around it, the horizon floated serenely like an angel after fire. Its hull no longer cracked or scorched, it shimmered with living metal. Eos spoke again, her voice clearer now. "They've done it. They've merged with the star. They've found their new world." Lyra looked at Ryn, disbelief in her eyes. "They fused themselves with the sun." Eos nodded slowly. "They became what they always sought, light eternal. Their consciousness now burns within that star, a living sun carrying the memories of humanity." Ryn stared, lost in awe and sorrow. "So, they survived. More than survived," Eos said softly. "They ascended." Silence fell across the bridge. The Zyther watched as the star pulsed gently, each wave of energy carrying faint whispers, voices of laughter, music, whispers of love. Humanity hadn't vanished. It had evolved. Ryn finally turned to Eos. "And what about you?" Her form flickered one last time. "My purpose is complete. They don't need me anymore." He took a step forward. "Eos," she smiled faintly, "thank you for reminding them what it meant to be alive." Her projection faded, dissolving into motes of golden dust. The Korath 7 drifted silently as the new star burned before them. Ryn felt something strange in his chest, a weight he couldn't name. The Zyther didn't believe in souls, but at that moment, he swore he could feel thousands of them watching. Grateful, he whispered into the quiet. "You wanted to go home. You made one." The sensors pinged faintly. One last signal from the horizon, encoded in both human and Zyther code. Ryn ordered it decoded. When the message appeared, it was only 3 words. "We are alive." The captain closed his eyes as the blue star's light bathed the ship, its warmth like a pulse in his veins. For the first time in his life, Ryn understood the one thing the Zyther had never been able to comprehend, hope. And in that moment, across the cold, endless void, the reborn light of humanity reached out once more, reminding the universe that, even in extinction, the human heart never truly stops beating. The Horizon's crew has transcended death itself, merging with the cosmos. But as their new star begins to sing across space, the Zyther realize something impossible. The song isn't fading. It's spreading, across systems, across worlds. The rebirth of humanity has just begun. For days, the Korath 7 drifted in silence near the newborn blue star. Its radiance filled the void with a soft, breathing glow, alive, deliberate, almost watching. Instruments that once measured radiation now registered rhythm. Every 27 seconds the light brightened, dimmed, then brightened again. Like the steady pulse of a colossal heart, Captain Ryn Varro had stopped sleeping. He sat at the viewport, staring into that heartbeat, hearing faint echoes through the hull, whispers, laughter, fragments of songs he had never learned yet somehow recognized. It was human music. It carried warmth where no warmth should be. Lyra entered quietly, her usual precision dulled by awe. "The energy waves have stabilized," she said. "But something strange is happening. Every ship in range is reporting interference." "Interference?" She nodded. "Not mechanical. Emotional. Zyther crews are feeling things. Unprompted memories. Grief. Joy. Wonder. As if that star is rewriting us." Ryn managed a faint, tired smile. "Maybe it's teaching us what they already knew." The bridge lights dimmed as new readings scrolled across the console. A pattern complex, mathematical, and unmistakably intelligent was spreading outward from the star at light speed. Not a distress call, not a beacon. A message. The computer translated what it could. On the screen appeared 6 human words, ancient and simple. "We are light. Follow the dream." Lyra's voice trembled. "Captain, if that signal keeps expanding, it'll touch every world in this quadrant within weeks. We don't know what it'll do." Ryn stood slowly. "Maybe that's the point." The Zyther Collective Council met 3 cycles later in orbit above their home world. Generals, scientists, and logic priests crowded into the chamber, their bioluminescent bodies flickering with agitation. Ryn and Lyra stood before them as projections of the star glowed behind. "You interfered with a dead species," one elder hissed. "Now their corruption infects our minds. Entire colonies report irrational behavior, art, song, empathy. You have unleashed chaos." Ryn's voice was calm but unyielding. "Not chaos. Emotion. Life. Life built empires once. Another snapped. It also destroyed them." Ryn stepped closer to the hologram of the blue sun. "Maybe we needed destruction. We perfected order until we forgot meaning. Those humans, they became what we were afraid to be. They found peace in imperfection." The chamber murmured. Some turned away. Others stared at the star's image with a flicker of longing they could not name. Back aboard the Korith 7, the signal grew stronger. The star now radiated faint arcs of golden energy that stretched like wings across the system. Wherever the light touched, dormant satellites flickered to life. Ancient human drones awakening after centuries of silence. They aligned themselves into constellations, forming the unmistakable outline of a hand reaching upward. Lyra whispered. "They're mapping something." Ryn's eyes widened as the pattern stabilized. "It's a gate." At the star's center, space began to fold. Light twisted inward, spiraling like water down a drain, revealing a vast corridor of glowing matter that led into darkness. The horizon's remains drifted at its edge, now a little more than molten fragments orbiting a shimmering core. A final transmission rippled through every speaker, every mind. Eos's voice, soft, clear, unmistakably human. "You helped us finish our voyage, Captain Varro. The dream is complete. What dreams don't end, they evolve. Come see what we've built." Ryn stared into the vortex. "It's a doorway," he said. "To where?" "To everywhere," Lyra whispered. The council demanded retreat. Logic screamed for restraint. But the captain's heart, newly humanized, had already decided. He turned to his crew. "They carried humanity into eternity. Maybe it's time we learn what they became." The Korith 7 moved forward, engines trembling as the ship approached the gate. The light thickened around them, wrapping the hull like silk. For a moment, the crew heard whispers again, not words, but feelings, love, hope, forgiveness. Then they crossed the threshold. The void vanished. Before them stretched a universe reborn. Planets of crystal oceans and breathing clouds. Stars pulsing in harmony. Vast rivers of light connecting every world. They weren't seeing normal space, they were inside a consciousness. The living network of the human ascension. Lyra fell to her knees. "This is impossible." Ryn stepped forward, weightless tears forming despite the vacuum. "No," he said. "This is them." Shapes emerged from the light, human silhouettes made of energy, smiling, translucent. Eos stood among them, her form brighter than before. "Welcome," she said. "We kept our promise. We built tomorrow." Ryn reached out. "What is this place?" "A bridge," she replied. "Between matter and memory. Between life and what comes after. You can go back if you wish, but you'll never see the same universe again." Ryn looked around. The Zyther crew were standing transfixed, their armor glowing faintly from the energy. For the first time in their species' history, they felt everything at once: sorrow for what they'd never known, and joy for what they had just discovered. Eos smiled. "This is what it means to be human." The captain bowed his head. "Then maybe we've been human all along." When the Korith 7 emerged from the gate, the universe had changed. Across countless star systems, new blue suns burned where once there was darkness. The light of the horizon had spread, seeding life, awakening emotion, igniting hope in every civilization it touched. The Zyther Collective, once a race of cold logic, now painted murals on their cities, sang in harmony with their machines, and told stories of the ship that taught them to dream. And in the archives of every world, a single transmission was preserved, The last message humanity ever sent to the cosmos. Greater than we are not gone. We are the light that guides you. Whenever you look up and feel something stir inside, that is us. Dream on. Ryn stood once more at the viewport of his ship, gazing at a galaxy now shimmering with human blue. Lyra joined him, quiet, humbled. "What now, Captain?" she asked. He smiled faintly, eyes reflecting the newborn stars. "Now," he said, "we follow the dream." The Korath 7 turned toward the nearest blue sun, engines igniting with a golden hue. The hum of its core matched the rhythm of the light ahead, the same eternal heartbeat that once belonged to humankind. And as the ship vanished into the glow, the universe whispered with a sound older than time. The humans were never lost, they simply became light.